Well, welcome to Pacific Wealth and our series where we speak with local experts who help people successfully relocate to New Zealand. I'm Jim Smith, a financial advisor from Pacific Wealth, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Karen Justice from New Era Consulting. Karen is a licensed immigration advisor and helps individuals and families navigate what can often be a complex process. Today, we're going to be discussing the current immigration landscape and some of the different immigration pathways, as well as some practical advice for anyone thinking about making the move to New Zealand. So Karen, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jim. Lovely to be here.
Karen, would you mind starting by briefly introducing yourself, your business, and your role as a licensed immigration advisor?
Absolutely. So I set up New Era Consulting approximately 9 years ago. And prior to that, I worked in some large corporate immigration practices, both in Australia and New Zealand. These days, I work with a team located throughout New Zealand. We're all licensed immigration advisors and work with individuals, employers, high net worth individuals, business people looking to move to New Zealand. Yeah,
great. And we are recording this in March 2026. So what immigration trends are you seeing, first of all, globally, and then more specifically for New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. So globally, there is a big trend for people to seek out alternate either nationalities or places that they can move to with limited restrictions. Geopolitical tensions, which came to the forefront over the weekend, and just general insecurities about people where they are living in a lot of countries around the world are driving an increased interest in migration. Now, New Zealand is a small country at the bottom of the world, which in the past has been a big deterrent for attracting migrants to New Zealand, unless there is a family kind of link. Now we're seeing that is actually a benefit, and New Zealand is proving to be very popular as a destination for all sorts, family reunification, high net worth individuals looking for alternate places, and our economy's sort of starting to recover. So we're starting to see a lot of, or an increased number of work or employment related migration as well. So all in all, a lot of our traditional competitors for skilled migrants, Australia, Canada, the UK, have all but sort of closed or reduced their migrant intake. So there's a lot of factors contributing to New Zealand's highly desirable destination at the moment.
Great. And for sort of experienced professionals wanting to make the move to New Zealand, what are some of the most realistic work to residence or straight to residence options today?
Yeah, so New Zealand has a variety of visa pathways depending on what the person is coming for and what their background is. The straight to residence categories continue to be a fabulous option for those who are in an occupation that is deemed to be in high demand in New Zealand, and that covers things like most health professionals, IT roles, some engineering construction roles, and also there are some, so like veterinarians, just some a couple of other occupations. The work to residence allows for somebody to work for 2 years and then gain residence in New Zealand. And those occupations there's much fewer of those, but again, some of the trades and education roles are included in that. You don't have to be in an occupation on one of those two lists, however, to obtain a work visa and or a residence visa based on employment coming to New Zealand. If you're skilled and you have a job offer, generally there's a way to make New Zealand your home.
Great. And for those that want to retire in New Zealand, what are some of the potential pathways and requirements?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a variety of options. Two specifically that relate to retirement. One is a temporary visa. It's a rolling 2-year visitor visa, and it requires an investment in New Zealand of 750,000 New Zealand dollars, and that can then just continue on, and every 2 years is renewed. That's a good option for those who want to retire here and who don't have any relatives necessarily here, or specifically adult children who are New Zealand citizens or residents. That's it. The downside is that it is a visitor visa, so that precludes the purchase of property in New Zealand. So you're restricted to renting whilst here. The other option is for parents of New Zealand citizens or residents, and it's called Parent Retirement Visa, for an investment of $1 million New Zealand for 4 years. That allows you to have a residence visa from the outset. You have no minimum spend in time in New Zealand over that 4 years, but of course, if you are looking to retire here and live with family, then you know, the door's open and you can come and live. You can purchase property once you're here, and because it is a residence visa. And at the end of the 4 years, there is the option, provided you've maintained your investment, you can change to a permanent resident visa, which is like a resident visa when you're in New Zealand, but it doesn't expire at all. So if you end up not being in New Zealand or away for a period of time, you're not in danger of losing your resident status here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some other options for parents of New Zealanders, but generally those are the two where the requirements are on the actual applicants rather than what their children or relatives are doing in New Zealand.
Yeah. And for entrepreneurs and business owners, what are some of the main options?
Yeah, so until recently, we haven't had a very successful entrepreneur-related option. We had what was called the entrepreneur visa pathway. It was a work visa and then a residence visa, but it was fraught with problems. Now that closed last year and has been relaunched as the business investor visa, which came into effect end of November. Essentially, that's one part of of what was the old entrepreneur visa, and it's for those who wish to come to New Zealand to run a business. The purchase, you have to spend at least $1 million New Zealand on this business, and the idea behind it is that the people coming in will be able to bring new skills, technology, links to overseas, to run a business and to maintain the employment. We have a large number of companies in New Zealand who are run by so-called baby boomers who are looking to retire, and they can't because they can't find buyers for their businesses. So it's hoped that this category in some way will help, because if the businesses have to close, then people are going to lose their jobs. So that's one way. The other way is through the Active Investor Plus visa category, which is a resident visa from the outset. It does require a significantly greater investment, being either 5 or 10 million New Zealand dollars for a period of either 3 or 5 years. But that gives the ultimate flexibility to somebody, for example, who might want to come and start a new business, which the business investor visa currently does not permit. It also allows for people to come and work as an employee, as a contractor, not work at all. So there's ultimate flexibility given that it is a resident visa. And it is potentially more attractive for those who can afford the higher investment amount. It's a much easier pathway. With the business investor visa, you have a work visa to start with. You must commit to being tax resident. You have to be physically in New Zealand and hands-on running the business. And it's only after a period of time when the business has been running, you've added a new employee, you will be able to qualify for resident So yeah, we're seeing the AIP program, Active Investor Plus program, very popular currently. It's what I mentioned earlier in terms of people looking for alternate options, either backup or first, plan A, to relocate. For those that can afford it, this AIP program is proving to be extremely popular. It's a little bit early for the business investor visa yet to have seen many applications, but hopefully that will pick up as time goes on.
Great. And for anyone sort of seriously considering a move to New Zealand, what would you say a well-planned migration process looks like, and what are sort of some of the key steps along the way?
Yes, do your research, I think, is most important. Find someone to help you to map out. Think about, or factors that are really important is, what do you want to achieve in New Zealand? Are you coming to retire? Are you coming to work? Is there something else that you would like to do? That's your big starting point. What is the goal? And then a good immigration advisor or lawyer will be able to work with you backwards through that to see what that looks like in your particular situation. You may need to find employment first. You may need to make an investment. There are different options for different circumstances. The other thing to do, make sure that you do some research on, particularly coming from key source countries, is to work out whether you're going to be affected negatively by tax. What is the implication for that move? Because it can be quite a significant factor, and you want to, if it's going to be that, you want to know that up front or early on in the process before it's too late. The other things to look for, have a research about where you want to live in New Zealand. There's lots of great places in New Zealand, but not everything might be suitable for what you intend to do. Seek help, seek professional help would be my biggest, and not because I am a professional advisor, but I've just seen, there's a few pitfalls in the visa categories, and if you don't understand where those are, then that could be, could prove fatal to an application, and it ends up being a lot of wasted time and energy and money, more importantly.
Awesome. So Karen, thank you. For anyone thinking of moving to New Zealand, I hope you found that really helpful. I think one of the key takeaways for me is that there are many different pathways, and the process can be quite nuanced. So getting good advice early in the process can make a real difference. If you're watching and would like to contact Karen, her contact details are shown on the screen below. I'll also include her contact details in the video description. Karen, thank you again for joining us and sharing your insights today.
Thanks, Jim. Much appreciated.